Do you want WWE to fix LA Knight? Well, this is how they can do it. Just book him in a compelling storyline. The end. Obviously, I'm just kidding. Look at the length of this video. We've got a lot to talk about in relation to LA Knight here. I'm Casey Cameron, welcome to Leg Slapper, and yes, LA Knight is the conversation piece of the day. There is so much being said about him. Is he being punished? Is he having troubles backstage? There's so much going on with LA Knight because so many people want to see him succeed, they want to see him be a champion, and they want to see him, above all else, matter on WWE programming. And a lot of WWE fans make it seem like it's a really simple problem for LA Knight. Just give him a championship. Yeah, that's a really easy thing to say to the big company that makes very, very important decisions based on who is currently the champion. When you actually look into it, there is a really big problem with LA Knight right now. And those major problems are that there's no opponents for him, there's no real good storylines to insert LA Knight into currently, and there's really no WrestleMania future that's clear right now for LA Knight. I mean, think about it. Think about the next couple PLEs we have coming up. All the top baby faces and heels are tied up in War Games for Survivor Series, and right now it doesn't really seem like LA Knight's gonna be involved in that. Then we've got John Cena's retirement show, which is very John Cena-centric. Then after that, we've got the Royal Rumble, which, hate to break it to you, probably gonna be Sami Zayn or Braun Breaker winning that one. And then after that, we have Elimination Chamber, which, yeah, LA Knight might be able to get into an Elimination Chamber match of some variety, but if he were to lose that match, which, let's be honest, that's what he currently does, where does he go from there with only a short build to WrestleMania? So while I say some fans can be unfair to WWE in their criticisms of their handling of LA Knight, there is one thing that they're right about, and that's that WWE just doesn't seem to have the willingness to put LA Knight in important roles for whatever reason. And of course, to make all of this worse, you can't just move LA Knight back to SmackDown. He just recently moved to Raw. There's not much better for him on SmackDown anyway, and if you were to do that, it really looks like WWE Creative has no idea what they're doing. What WWE really needs is to get their injured superstars back on TV as soon as possible and hope that LA Knight will have something to do with one of them, right? Well, right now I would say LA Knight is in the upper mid-card to main event scene in the WWE. Right? He's actively challenging for the World Championship. Has he won it? No, but he's always up there in the conversation as of right now. So what about LA Knight versus the Bronze? Well, unfortunately, the story there is really non-existent at the moment. LA Knight, just a couple of weeks ago, said he was next in line for the championship, and he came out and then lost to Braun Breaker. And then the next week, when people were talking about the next people in line for the championship, not only was LA Knight not mentioned, he just didn't appear at all. LA Knight really is not the next guy in line. In fact, you could argue that both Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are both ahead of him in line, especially with their current accolades. I feel like at best, LA Knight might end up in a program with Bronson Reed heading into WrestleMania, but the problem is I actually see Bronson Reed challenging for a tag title at WrestleMania, and I don't see the same for LA Knight, which is why I don't know what LA Knight's gonna be doing. Next, let's look at LA Knight versus CM Punk. Well, there is a little bit of history there, but the problem here is that LA Knight would need an absolute Hail Mary title win, likely coming at Elimination Chamber, if anything. But the problem there is that if the WWE hasn't put the World Championship on LA Knight at this point, I don't think that they're gonna put the World Championship on him 1 to 2 months out from their biggest PLE of the year. And like I said earlier, I have a feeling it's going to be CM Punk versus Braun Breaker for the title at Mania. So what are we doing here with LA Knight? What about Jey Uso? LA Knight, Jey Uso, that could be kind of interesting. Well, the problem there as well is I think Jey is going to be wrapped up in a story after he's done flanking CM Punk for some reason. I think he's going to be wrapped up in a story with either Jimmy to do a rematch from WrestleMania 40, or maybe even a triple threat with Jimmy and Roman. So I think that keeps Jey out of a potential singles match with LA Knight at WrestleMania. And of course, what about the Last Time Is Now tournament, which we know LA Knight is currently a part of? Technically, he could be the guy to retire John Cena. And that's the kind of thing that LA Knight fans really hope for. I would put it at a pretty high likelihood that LA Knight is not going to be the guy that retires John Cena, but I think he might have a deep run in this tournament. I actually think LA Knight's tournament match is tonight as of the recording of this video, so we'll see. But let's say even if LA Knight makes it to the finals, he is the guy who retires John Cena. What does LA Knight do after this tournament? the world title is busy. The other world title is clearly very busy. What are we gonna do with LA Knight? Is he gonna just retire John Cena and then do nothing? Is he gonna have a program with some up-and-coming star? Is he gonna be fed to Obafemi? Who knows? If you're gonna do all those things, why not just have that be the person that beats John Cena? We don't need someone to beat John Cena to go on to do nothing to be beat by someone else so that person can say they beat the guy that retired John Cena. What LA Knight really needs is people backstage that believe in him, that have his back. He needs better, more available heels. He needs some of the top babyfaces to either move down the card or get inserted into feuds that don't involve championships. It is worth noting that you could turn LA Knight heel. You really could. I think he'd work really, really well right now as a heel character, but the problem is, I don't think it would help in the immediate. I think it would help more in the long term, because similar to the problem that LA Knight has with heel superstars, there's not a lot of available top baby faces in a singles position right now. First and foremost, LA Knight needs something to do, and I think as long as you give him a worthwhile story, fans will not be very butthurt that he is not actively losing for the World Heavyweight Championship yet again. And it's one thing to say, you know, oh, well, it's easy to come up with stories for these people. What are they doing? Here, I'm gonna give you a couple stories. I will give you, what, like 4 or 5? I think I have 4 written here. I'll give you 4 different storylines that you could run with LA Knight starting right now, and it would be perfectly fine. It would give him something to do, and as long as both LA Knight and the performer that he's working with is really willing to amp it up, these could be some great hot storylines that keep LA Knight busy for a long stretch of time, to keep him out of the title picture, to keep him from consistently losing championship opportunities and looking more like a joke than a megastar. So, storyline number 1, let's have him feud with Finn Balor. I know, WWE is very, very clearly holding Finn Balor for his inevitable feud with Dominic Mysterio, which I'm going to guess is going to be Dom's WrestleMania program this year. But what are we doing with Finn until then? He just lost the tag team championships, and then he lost his attempt to reclaim them. So now we have Finn and JD in the tag team division, basically at the bottom of the pile, and they should not have any shot or a claim to a shot at the WWE World Tag Team Championships. Well, so then why don't we take a heel who's really good in the ring and really good with storytelling and put him with a babyface who's really good in the ring and really good at storytelling, especially considering both of them have nothing to do. I mean, think about it. The story could be really simple too. Finn Balor crosses LA Knight, and it's the worst mistake of his life, because now LA Knight's gonna make it his mission to own the Judgment Day, to be the one that calls the shots for the Judgment Day. Not because he wants a group, not because he wants to be a part of the Judgment Day, but because Finn Balor got in his way, and now he's gonna ruin everything Finn Balor has, right? And there you go. You've got the feud between the two. You can have as many matches as you want. Eventually, you put the leadership of the Judgment Day on the line, and what do you know? Maybe LA Knight wins. Maybe LA Knight we get a lot of funny comedic moments. We really freshen up the Judgment Day by adding LA Knight into the picture. And yes, people will be annoyed he's not in the World Championship picture, but right now he's not going to be anyways. So let's take this and be happy with a storyline that's going to move him forward and matches that are going to be awesome. LA Knight versus Finn Balor? Are you kidding me? And then, like I said, LA Knight's now the leader of the Judgment Day, and he's making them all do funny things. That would be excellent. But you know what you could do too? You could keep it completely serious. You could have LA Knight begin to slowly turn heel, maybe. And maybe he's actually kind of liking being part of the Judgment Day. He's liking having some people that you go beat them up. That's great. Yeah. Maybe he's really enjoying that. And maybe he just starts to become the actual leader of the Judgment Day. It's not funny anymore. Now he's just like, yeah, you know what? I want to be the guy. I was trying it that way and it wasn't working. And so now I'm gonna try it the Judgment Day way and see if that makes things a little bit better for me. If at any point you either want to end the storyline or just remove LA Knight from the group, you just have a member of the Judgment Day beat him for control of the group again. It's really that easy. It's that simple. It's a fun story that could be short or it could be long. It just depends on what you want to do with it. Look at that. Amazing. There you go. Free TV right there. Enjoy. What about next? How about a TNA invasion? Yes, this is much less likely to happen, and it seems more like if it was gonna happen, it would happen on NXT, but let's have fun with it, right? I'm giving you another storyline idea. You can bring in TNA guys, you can have AJ Styles lead them to give AJ Styles something interesting to do, but what would LA Knight do? Well, LA Knight's definitely not gonna be the leader of Team TNA. He was a big deal in TNA, but not really the biggest deal. He wasn't an AJ Styles. But that doesn't mean that he can't be important. I would actually have LA Knight be basically a right-hand man figure to AJ Styles in this, this. And then what you can do is, obviously, the TNA guys would be the quote-unquote heels of the group, and we have them running roughshod over WWE until maybe LA Knight has a bit of a face turn. He's thinking, well, you know what? Like, yeah, TNA helped put me on the map, but now I'm here in WWE and they give me so many opportunities. So maybe LA Knight defects and he joins Team WWE and he becomes a major focal point for Team WWE against Team TNA. There's a lot you can do. Yes, you would have to pull in a lot of people, but you know what? WWE isn't upset with just absolutely stuffing people into a storyline and then pigeonholing them into that one storyline instead of allowing flexible storytelling to happen across the roster. I'll be mentioning this again later. Then what about LA Knight versus Penta? And I know what you're thinking, well, it's babyface versus babyface. You could turn one of them heel, or you could run it babyface versus babyface, because they're both characters where it works. LA Knight, he likes to fight people. Penta, he likes to prove that he is the man. So you know what would be great? A best of 7 series between Penta and LA Knight that you could run over a number of months if you really wanted to. Just take 2 guys with no titles, with no real prospects for something to do at the moment, and let them have banger matches, have them slowly amp up the aggression of the matches, and have it culminate in some kind of stipulation match. There's a lot you can do with this basic little thing. It doesn't have to be a crazy story. It can start out as, I want to beat you to prove I'm the best. No, I want to do the same to you, and then just let it get more personal. Let it get more aggressive. Could Penta act as a heel while still being a babyface in this feud? Sure. Could LA Knight do the same? Sure. I don't think wrestling fans are this black and white anymore, and I think we're starting to see with characters that there can be a lot more nuance in the modern wrestling product. And now I know I said don't move LA Knight back to SmackDown, but here's a potential option if you were to do that. How about LA Knight versus DIY? And when I say LA Knight versus a tag team, no, we're not moving him to the tag division. I mean, let's just have DIY be 2 basically like internet troll guys who are just saying all the same things that the people online who hate LA Knight say. Have them come out and say all these things to LA Knight so LA Knight can shoot from the hip right back on the microphone at them, saying what he feels about that. So, you know, the fans at home can have that idea of, wow, LA Knight knows exactly what people are saying about him and he knows exactly what he wants to do. It's just a matter of being in the position or having the ability to actually do those things. And come on, you're trying to tell me LA Knight versus Johnny Gargano, LA Knight versus Tommaso Ciampa, these aren't amazing matches just waiting to happen? I couldn't wait to see matches like that, especially when it's a 2-on-1 situation. Yeah, LA Knight is technically a bigger deal than those 2 in terms of how we're kind of situating the roster to most fans, but it's exactly that. LA Knight is outnumbered. So maybe we got to put a little bit more edge on LA Knight here. Maybe he starts coming out with a weapon so that he can equalize things. You know, there's a lot that you can do here, and there's a lot that can make it a lot of fun, and there's a lot of ways that you can directly communicate to the fans to let them know that they hear what they're saying and that something is happening for the person that they're such a big fan of. I realize I'm talking very passionately here. I like LA Knight. I don't really care if LA Knight is the champion though. I see what everybody else is saying. I just think, man, if everybody wants LA Knight as champion, there are avenues to get him there, or at least to get him to matter. There's avenues to get him there. I don't understand why the WWE would have this incredible roster, pay these people so much money, and then just not use certain people. Yeah, why am I here giving WWE writers free advice, free storylines, huh? Does LA Knight face John Cena in his final match? Almost certainly not. Does CM Punk hold the championship all the way to WrestleMania? Almost certainly. So what is there for LA Knight? Does he face a returning Austin Theory? Does he start a program with Gunther? Does he face a returning Chad Gable? Well, those guys all have stuff to do. You want to fix LA Knight? Give him something to do and make it matter. Not just, oh, there's a thing that's occurring. Make it matter. Help the guys make it matter. This is not that hard. As higher ups in WWE come out and they say, oh, well, storytelling is the main focus. It clearly is not, considering you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, and WWE fans are telling you actively, this is boring, this is not good, something needs to change. You are not putting storytelling first. You are just going through the motions. And look at the PLE schedule. Look at what's happening with War Games. Why are we doing War Games? That's one of the most common criticisms you'll see. Why is War Games happening right now? There's no storyline justifying it. So all WWE needs to do is start allowing storylines that Yes, it may complicate things a little bit, but allow storylines to begin to overlap and allow people to start experiencing more than one story at the same time. I promise you, wrestling fans can hold on and they can understand things are going on. In a professional setting, you don't necessarily just have a problem with a single person at a single time. Like, let's take Dom, for instance, right? It's an easy way you lead to a triple threat. You have problems with Penta, then you have problems with Rusev, now you got a triple threat. Well, you can run a story with Rusev and you can run a story with Penta, and they can be two different stories that overlap with one another, and that is okay. There are things to do. We can let other people feud with other people and then change and evolve things. This is all okay. The WWE fan will understand the story still. The story doesn't change just because, whoa, what's going on? Like, we don't just go, oh my God, that guy's in a feud with another guy. Why is he in this storyline? What's going on here? No, we don't do that. We just go, oh, okay, so he's here doing this now. That's great. He'll go back to that other thing, I'm sure. Sorry, I know this turned into a bit of a rant, but it's just like, come on, what are we doing? Instead of something meaningful for LA Knight, he's probably gonna end up losing in the first to second round of the Last Time Is Now tournament. He's probably gonna end up getting fed to Obafemi when Obafemi joins the main roster so that Obafemi looks like a big deal. Probably gonna put over Gunther. And like I keep saying, on this current path, LA Knight has no path to the top. Right now, that is it. You want to fix this problem, put him in storylines, let LA Knight show you what he can do. But right now, if fans just keep going, why isn't he champion? They don't care. Why isn't he in active storylines that matter? That's what I care about. So if he's going to be in this Last Time Is Now tournament, make me care about it. Make me care that he's there. Right now, I just think he's there to put someone over. So make me care that LA Knight is there. And I don't know what's going on with cutting off his promos, but I mean, let's all try and stay on time. Whatever happened there. But that's it. Let me know what you think could happen with LA Knight here. I really think the fix for LA Knight is really simple. There are people available for him to work with. There are storylines available for him to take on. It's just a matter of WWE not trying to hold people back in order for bigger feuds heading into WrestleMania, because I have a feeling that's what's happening here. But anyways, that's it. I've been Casey Cameron. Tell me what you think about LA Knight. Do you like LA Knight? Do you know, LA Knight's kind of whatever. Who cares? Or are you someone that you're like, yes, LA Knight must be the world champion? I want to hear from you. What would you want LA Knight to do? Who do you want LA Knight to feud with? Do you want LA Knight to get the world championship and you see a route to it that I don't? Well, let me know in the comments down below. I'd be happy to talk with you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.